Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name is Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive book. December has already started, but I wanted to present to you my December TBR anyway. There is a lot of craziness going on in December, so let me tell you about this quickly. At the beginning of the year, in my German Goodreads group, we decided to do a challenge where we challenged ourselves to finish like 12 series during the year. Finishing 12 series, that is really easy. You only have to finish one series each month. No biggie, isn't it? So, flash forward to November of 2014. I have finished 3 series. In fingers, 3. So there are 9 series out there I need to finish. These 9 series I need to finish include like 13 books. I want to read all of those in December. But there's more. I have some review copies that I want to get done with in December as well. So there will be more books than 13 lined up. And on top of that, I participate in Samantha's Dickens read-along group, Samantha from Novels and Nonsense. And there are 3 stories, 3 Christmas stories we're reading during the month of December that are added on top of that. So, let's get started with this really ambitious TBR. First of all, we have a lot of books that I'm taking with me as baggage from November. So I already started the Iron Jekyll, which is the 3rd book in the Tales of the Catty J series by Chris Wooding. It's a steampunk fantasy mashup set in a secondary world. I talked about the series quite often on my channel. I really loved the first 2 books, Retribution Falls and The Black Lung Captain. And I'm reading it for quite a while now, so I'm 60% through and I hope to finish it within the next couple of days. Next up, we have some buddy reads I started in November but didn't finish yet. One is Theft of Swords. I first started out doing this buddy read with Ness from Wonderness, but then it was a lucky coincidence that also Lindsay from Lindsay Ray and Sarah from Books and Junk started to read Theft of Swords as well, so they are joining me in this as well. And I already started this book. I'm like 30% into it, and Sam from Novels and Nonsense really loves Michael J. Sullivan's work, and yeah, so I'm really excited to finally get to experience this series as well. Another buddy read for an ARC copy I got from NetGalley is The Abyss Beyond Dreams by Peter F. Hamilton. I'm reading this with Bree from Stories from the Shelf, and it's set in Peter F. Hamilton's Commonwealth world, and yeah, it's a space opera and I'm really excited to get started with it. Next up we have Cold Steel. It's the 3rd book in Kate Elliott's Spiritwalker series. I already showed you this on my November TBR. It's a series that the author herself calls like ice punk, because it's like a steampunkish world with magic in it. It's an alternate Earth where we have like an ice age, and therefore the Western cultures didn't develop that well, and we have a lot of the dominating cultures actually coming from Africa, and so we have a very interesting mix-up. It's a different world. It's our world, but very differently. For example, in the United States, the natives there are trolls, so we have this kind of fantasy element in it as well, and yeah, it's magic. There is a lot of romance, involved as well, or not a lot of, but romance is an integral part of the story, and I really enjoyed the first book. The second book was okay, and yeah, now I want to find out how the series ends. Another third part of a trilogy I want to finish, I already showed you in November as well. It's Emperor of Thorns by Mark Lawrence, the final volume in the Broken Empire series. I think you might have seen my review of King of Thorns. I did this as a buddy read with Samantha from Novels and Nonsense in October, I think. And yeah, I want to finish the series now and see how it ends. Speaking of Samantha, I told you already I'm taking part in her Dickens read-along, and the 3 stories that remain for us in December are The Cricket on the Hearth, The Chimes, and A Christmas Carol. And so far, the first 2 stories that we read, there was one I really liked, and there was another one I really disliked. So that will be quite interesting to, yeah, see how the remaining stories turn out. When I'm actually filming this, I have already read The Cricket on the Hearth, and I really enjoyed that as well. So Dickens, you're going on to the positive side of things at the moment. Next up, we have a series that you have seen quite often on BookTube, and a lot of people are raving about it. And I have only read the first book of the Mistborn Trilogy so far, and of course I'd like to change that, because Brandon Sanderson is a great author, and I really enjoy his Cosmere idea. And a lot of booktubers I like and talk to a lot are huge fans of the whole Cosmere universe, and are always like, oh Michael, you have to finish the series and Word of Radiance, and you have to read it. And yeah, I'm doing this. I'm trying to catch up and read like all the Cosmere books. So I read Warbreaker, you saw that in my review on Monday, and I'm trying to finish the whole Mistborn saga this year. So I'm not only reading The Well of Ascension, I'm also reading the last one in the trilogy, The Hero of Ages, and then I'm debating if I would have time at the end of the month. I would also go for The Alloy of Law, which is the first book in the second trilogy or second series set in the Mistborn world, a more steampunky series, but that would be the book that I would read if I would be able to finish every other book and still have time in December. The people that are following me right from the start may remember that one of the first ever reviews I did was for Macaque. The first, I think, in the Macaque series, which is a really interesting cyberpunk series starring a macaque, so an ape, that is one of the main characters, and he fights in World War II against German Nazi ninjas. So that is really weird, and of course, if you like me have read the first book, you know why it is like that, and yeah, how all of that turned out. And there are 2 follow-up books. One is already available. It's Hive Monkey, the second book, and the last and final book of this series comes out December 30th. It's called Macaque Attack. And I was lucky enough to get a review copy from NetGalley, and so I'd like to finish the series and maybe then do a review of the series for you. Another book I'm planning to read is The Shotgun Arcana by R.S. Belcher. It's the second book in the Golgotha series, and I recently read the first book, The Six Gun to Row, in October, and I did a review of that, and I was really positively surprised by it. I gave it 5 stars, and I'm really looking forward to go back into the series. And as soon as I saw that cover, I was really like, yeah, I have to read this. And this is one of the things I'm really looking forward to. Another book belonging into that category is The Fellsword by Miles Cameron. It's the second book in the Traitor Son cycle, and it's the sequel to The Red Knight. And I haven't been booktubing last year, and if I would have, you would have heard a lot more about The Red Knight than you may have already heard on my channel, because it was my favorite book I read in 2013, and it's a multi-point of view book in a very medieval world, but also filled with magic. We have like sentient tree beings and sentient golden bears, and we see actually perspectives from, scenes from their point of view as well, not as constantly as from the human characters. There's a lot of human characters in it. It's a really great series, and I'm really looking forward to read the sequel. Another great series I'd like to finish in December is a space opera by James S.A. Corey. It's the Expanse series. So far I've read the first book, Leviathan Wakes, and the second book, Caliban's War. So there are 2 books remaining in this series for me, Abaddon's Gate and Cybola Burn. And I'm trying to read these 2 books in December as well. That might be a series many of you are not familiar with at the moment, but I think you are going to be, because the series is in production at the moment for sci-fi, so this will be something you're going to see 2015 on your TV, and then I think there will be a bit of more hype around the series. So that this time might be a good time to actually start the series and get your own opinion before the hype starts. And last but not least is the one book that I already finished this month, and it's The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch, the third in the Gentleman Bastard series. I did this as a huge buddy read with a lot of other booktubers, with Lindsay from Lindsay Ray, Sarah from Books and Junk, Sana from Inkbones Books, Chris from The Reading Roads, Samantha from Novels and Nonsense, and PT from PT Hilton, and we had a blast. And the Republic of Thieves was a really positive experience for me. I rated it 4 stars, and there will be a review up on Monday, so I will talk about it in more detail then. So this is my very ambitious TBR. If you want to say something like, "Are you crazy, Michael? Aren't you doing Vlogmas as well and trying to watch like 100 videos a day because everybody else is doing Vlogmas?" Then you can do that in the comments. And if you like this video, hit the like button there. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel. If you want to know what's coming up on my channel, look inside the description box. There's a little segment there called On the Horizon. I wish you a good day and hope you get bitten by a really good book too, or 15 or 20 books. Whatever. See ya.